Nook is the region's first dedicated co-working space focused on helping sports and wellness entrepreneurs set up their own business. We have permission to issue up to 200 trade licenses across 40 different trading activities. You can work from any of the surfaces around us. We also have a mind-body studio as well as a functional training studio. I think the talent pool is growing. One of the unique things about Dubai, you have kind of an east meets west when it comes to sports. Dubai is a great window into the rest of the GCC. We've been very fortunate to work with different UAE authorities to get people to play more sport and to be more active in the UAE.
Hey guys, welcome along to Fine for People. My name is Grant Goes, and today we're talking about licensing in the UAE. You've just seen the video from Nook, and we've got the guys from Nook here as well to tell us a little more about licensing, all the wonderful pros, cons, good, the bad, the ugly. I'm just talking about myself. So we've got you guys as well. Welcome on, Ray, Sophie. Thank you for the. I know we kind of dragged you in a little bit. It's okay, it's not a worry.
Not as much.
I was kicking and screaming. No, it's a topic that a lot of people talk about, and when it comes up, there seems to be two sides of the coin, a big debate going on. So it's definitely great to get some clarity from you guys about this. So thank you for that. Let's just start with you guys and Nook itself. What is Nook?
Well, Nook is becoming quite well known, so most people tend to have heard about Nook now, but we're a co-working space, a business centre, but focus on sports, fitness and wellness startup companies in Dubai. And yeah, we have a gym, exercise studio, big co-working space, a growing community of now 80 plus companies, and it's going well. It's
awesome. The old, with it being a co-working space, I mean, some people don't know what it is. Can you just explain a little bit further? I know there's some people go like, what?
Yes, it's a shared workspace. There's loads and loads of different definitions of it, depending on your viewpoint of it, but it basically stands for a collaborative space. So it's not just a private closed office all the time, it's lots and lots of different types of seats and types of seating, and you just sit wherever you feel comfortable. And it's a really great way to save costs, especially as a startup.
Totally, isn't it? There's some of the benefits behind that as well, because obviously you think of a million different things off the one. What are some of the top benefits behind a co-working space?
I would say that from the outset, we worked with DMCC to create an opportunity for sports and fitness providers and professionals here in the UAE. With that, our goal has been creating a community. So that's probably the single biggest benefit of joining Nook, is you're not taking or paying your money for a virtual license somewhere to set up a company, but you're joining a community of people trying to do the same things with the same passion, the same ideas about the industry we work in. Who are trying to be successful and make a difference. Yeah,
totally. We've got 80 companies. It's awesome. I mean, to have under one roof. What's the diversity of these companies?
There's quite a lot. Anything from, we've got quite a lot of coaches, any kind of like, especially online coaches, in fitness, in nutrition, in wellness, in holistic well-being. Quite a few PTs. We've got a few badminton companies, a couple of tennis kind of companies, social fitness company, Duplays, if you've heard of them.
I did not know that.
Yes, there's quite a few. It's quite diverse, but we also have a few supporting companies as well. So like digital marketers that can help any of the companies within Nook, accounting firms, legal firms. There's a few different types of businesses that can kind of contribute to the Nook community.
Awesome.
It's cool.
And what's the feel you get with, I mean, you know, if you're an individual and you go into a group and sometimes you're scared of going into a group of people because you might not be the cool kid or whatever. And then, obviously, you see there's a good vibe here, but for someone who's going to come into a space like this, what's some of the things you can maybe make them aware of or just let them know about so it's a little easier transition?
Yeah, I think, as you say, everybody loves Nook, so we get pretty much consistently positive feedback about people's experience coming to the place, joining events, training here, setting up the company with Nook, and the first kind of contributing factor with that is the fact that we have a small team and we're all based here at Nook. We all have experience.
Flip flops.
Yeah, no, pretty much. But we're here. We don't have a call center. You are respected in the sense that we have worked with everyone at Nook now through the whole kind of ideas, setting up their company, taking a space at Nook, developing their business beyond that first kind of setup phase. So we literally know everyone in Nook. We know all the businesses, we know what they're trying to work on, what they're trying to achieve, and where we come across other opportunities in the sector for yoga teachers or an events company or a marketing business, whoever it might be at Nook, we can help them and make connections in that community. So that's the first thing, and I think with that kind of support from day one, or the minute you first call Nook or send an email or walk in the door. People feel welcome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that's pretty cool.
Cool. Theo, because there's so many different, again, go back to that diversity and the community that's growing, the connections, I mean, it must be pretty simple to be able to walk in and go, I mean, as I say, as a PT, and you go, like, hey, tennis, nutrition, all around there, and you kind of just, how much do you see people collaborating?
So much.
I mean,
We've got quite a few big characters in here, and they're normally the ones that'll, I see it quite a lot at the coffee machine. Someone will just come over and it'll be a new person they've not seen before, and they're like, hi, I'm this person, this is what my business does, what do you do? And it's just a small introduction. But from that first introduction, people then feel a little bit more comfortable and that the space is a bit warmer to them.
Totally.
And we'll then continue that chain reaction with everybody around and just get to know who's around. Usually people who are in the same phase of their setup as well with their company. So if they're just in the process of getting their license and they're both doing the same thing and they're here coincidentally for a meeting, they'll end up just having a conversation with each other, finding a way to kind of get through the startup journey together in the first year. And it's nice to see. It's good fun.
What kind of feedback do you get like from the people about the growing of their businesses like that? Like they find that the growth comes from the connections they're making in here, or the accessibility? I know because it's so essential as well. Is there anything that stands out? Or
I mean, there's lots of different factors in.
There's Ravi over here.
The man himself.
There he is.
There's lots of different factors in growing any business, as I'm sure you know. We try to help and support where we can, but ultimately it's the individual entrepreneur's own passion and ideas and enthusiasm, motivation to do what they need to do to make their business successful that's going to take them forward. We're an ecosystem here within Nook, and we provide support in any way that we can. But ultimately, you know, setting up a business is a challenge. It's a challenging market that we work in. So everyone who is successful can, I think, take most of the credit themselves for working hard and putting the time in.
Totally. We'll come back to the setup side of things, but guys, we're going to talk about licensing in the UAE, pros and cons, things like that, and we're going to find out more, and we can ask questions. If you guys have any questions, please chuck them in the comment section down below. Share your thoughts, and we'll be right back to talk more about the setups of business here in the UAE right after this. Hey guys, welcome back to Five for People. My name's Grant Goes, and this is the platform that helps you connect with the best in health, sports, and fitness. And today we're talking with one of the best, aren't we? About licensing. There
Definitely.
we go. Boom. I always love a shameless plug. We're talking about licensing, so share your thoughts and give me any comments, questions you've got. Put them in the comment section down below. Let's go into this setup of the licensing itself. Like, for the first question, well, actually, what is the first question? No, not you guys. What is the first question? People go like,
the first question, I mean, you mentioned that we're the best. We
may
or may not be the best, so we'll not argue the point. We are the only organisation that's dedicated and focused on helping sports, fitness and wellness companies get started and provide them a facility to work and deliver the services and create connections. So yeah, that's the first point. One of the first questions we're often asked is, can you give me a freelance visa? And there's a misconception, I think, in the UAE now as to what is a company set up and what's a freelance visa and what people actually need in order to be able to do what they want to do.
Totally.
So that's the first question we try to answer.
So what's the answer?
The answer is it's better for you to get a license than to become a freelancer. The idea has been thrown around so much and not been policed very well, and freelancing as a freelancer by yourself without a company to back you up is technically not the most legal thing you can do. Legally in the UAE, you're not supposed to take payments, you're not supposed to issue invoices, you don't have a registered company trade license within the UAE. No one really tends to know that and just listens to whatever the first person tells them and goes, okay, well, being a freelancer is a little bit cheaper and I still get my visa, so I'm just going to do that. And we get that quite a lot, and it's a shame.
But actually, even to go a step back from that, there's a misconception of what a freelance visa actually is. So now there are some authorities in the UAE that can issue a freelance permit to work along with a residence visa. But what most people refer to as a freelance visa is paying someone to give you a residence visa that allows you to stay in the UAE without doing the border run every month. So that is something that's happened here for years, especially particularly amongst personal trainers and fitness instructors that have paid someone 10,000 dirhams for the year, they've got a visa and they think they're good to go, but in reality they're not legally allowed to operate and train and do what they do.
Totally.
They're kind of using a loophole in the system where a company can give a visa to someone as an employee when they're technically not that company's employee.
Yeah,
so
totally.
we usually kind of talk about that a bit,
Yeah.
and then get on to the kind of, what are the best options in terms of moving forward.
Totally. And you're right, there's something that push people to go for that option. Anyway, so let's get back into when you're forming a company. That's what we're talking about. So forming a company, what's kind of involved in that? Well, not kind of, what is involved in that, sorry?
There's some steps in the process. So first of all, I think we work as Nook exclusively with DMCC, which is one of the free zones in Dubai. It's been the world's leading free
Dubai
zone.
Media something? Or?
No,
Dubai Multi-Commodities Centre.
Okay, there you go.
There you go. But it's been the top global free zone for the past 5 years now.
Okay.
It's a great place to work. They have a really cool online system that just makes things easy in terms of the applications and then the things you need for your business over time, visas, work permits, license renewal and so on. It's all very easy to do. But we help with that process and the setup. And all of our company setups with DMCC are limited liability companies. So fully incorporated business structures that are licensed to, as per the commercial activity in your license, deliver a range of services and work across the fitness and sports and wellness industry that we support.
You mentioned, okay, just to be with clarity, you mentioned DMCC free zone, right? And there's a whole big thing about if you're in a free zone, you're going to work within that free zone. Yeah. But the licensing here within Nook is different, right? You can work outside the free zone?
The same. I mean, the law applies in the UAE, but the reality here now is that I think we work with, there's always existed a kind of grey area around free zone licensing and where you can operate your business.
Yeah.
So what we do is try to be very clear on what the law says, and technically a DMCC free zone license allows you to operate within the free zone. But the reality in the market now is that with a service license, you can deliver those services across different areas, and many, many companies here do. There's probably, I would like to say, very few restrictions and barriers currently in terms of enforcement and regulation in the market that prevent a free zone company working in different areas.
Totally.
There is coming more and more, but we've seen that kind of slow down in terms of the kind of regulation, possibly with Expo 2020 coming, with Dubai's move towards the knowledge economy and supporting businesses to grow in the SME market. So as of now, there's no real impediment to people setting up a company in Dubai with DMCC and doing their business in the city.
Well, I mean, because this is a unique thing as well. I mean, we talk about the not priority, but the main companies you have here are these ones that are these tennis coaches, these badminton coaches, PTs and things like that, right? So with them, there's a lot of, in the industry, in this fitness industry, people just go out to the homes, they do the trainings there, or they go train in the gym and stuff like that. I suppose that's always going to be a question, like, is this okay? Because, going back to the free zone.
It's always a question. Probably after the freelance visa, they've got on to setting up a company, and then they're asking about free zones versus mainland setups.
Yeah.
So Nook as a concept was originally designed to allow companies to start up at lower cost with a Dubai license, and that's generally preferred nowadays over licenses from other Emirates. You may have issues opening a bank account and have to travel to do the kind of administration processes.
Yeah.
So Nook as a concept was SPAC, accessible, great location in Dubai. We have a studio where companies can deliver their services. We have a gym that trainers can use to train their clients. And that's always the starting point. And what people go on to do beyond that is generally up to the owners of that business, but of course they should always comply with the law here in the UAE and Dubai. But as I say, in terms of regulations, we have companies registered at Nook who have establishment registration cards issued by Dubai Sports Council. Companies have rented space in various facilities, taken part in Dubai Fitness Challenge across Dubai, and they haven't been restricted from doing that with the DMCC trade license.
Yeah, nice, awesome. What are some of the tough questions you guys get? Besides the ones from me.
Yeah, you asked some pretty tough ones. One of the best ones that I always find, so one of the limitations with a license and one of the legal structures is you have to have a legal office address, whatever that means, within your area of operation. So for us, DMCC is JLT, which is why we created Nook, so that people could register their businesses here, but for a really, really affordable cost. One of the best questions we get is, but I'm not going to use the office, or do I still need to get the space? And yeah, you do, but you'll have that anywhere you go. If you go to Fujairah Creative City, they have a little tower that you'll never see, that they register your business in there, and it's like a flexi desk. And every free zone has it. They just not as open with what it is that you're paying for, but we try to be as open and honest as we possibly can be.
We love that question because Nook is the only facility focused on sports, fitness and wellness companies, as we've said. And for the same, or in a lot of cases, a lower price for your company setup, you get access 24/7 to our facility. You can use the studio, the gym, join the community here, and we're not charging more than you would pay in some other Emirates for a company license and a bit of paper that says you have an address. So we try to kind of provide benefits for members and the community we work with, rather than just taking their money and
very much. Great business. What about the, you mentioned before online training. So getting a license for online training, how does it apply when you're getting licensing? Because I know that it's a very common thing these days to get is just do online training. They're not actually going to homes, they're not actually going around anywhere, never mind Dubai or free zone, but just doing all their stuff online. So the first question is, why would you get registered or license yourself in the first place if you're just doing online stuff?
It's a good question, and a lot of people based in the UAE have been working as online coaches elsewhere. So they're from the US or the UK, and they have an online coaching business, and they've done whatever they have to do there. And they feel like if they just start broadcasting and selling their services and that kind of online coaching product here in the UAE, then they're good to go. Because it's online, there's no kind of physical presence. We're always very careful to advise people that in reality, you're selling a service here in the UAE, so you need to have a proper Dubai or UAE trade license in order to do that. And I think the safest way to do it, although again there's a bit of a grey area around that, is if you're coaching online, yes, you don't have physical contact with your customers, they're not coming to a gym, they're not liable to be injured based on your direct advice, but you still should have proper qualifications, the proper insurance and the right trade license in order to deliver that online coaching experience for your customers, because people can still get injured, there can still be issues that arise from that, but ultimately every company here has to abide by the laws in the UAE.
Totally, and there's always the legal side of it as well. When you're talking about a bank account, open up a bank account, you can't open a bank account unless you've got a license.
If you're selling a service here in the UAE, then you're taking money in the UAE essentially. And obviously registering for VAT is a part of that. If you're a very successful online coach and you earn enough money, then you should be registering for VAT and providing the government's.
So Facebook had it the other day. Facebook sent a little notice, make sure you register for VAT.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Something new to go with. Guys, we're talking about licensing here in the UAE, the pros, the cons, the good, the bads, and if you have any comments and want to share your thoughts, please chuck them in the comment section down below. We're going to talk more about this coming up straight after this.
Nook is the region's first dedicated co-working space focused on helping sports and wellness entrepreneurs set up their own business. We have permission to issue up to 200 trade licenses across 40 different trading activities. You can work from any of the surfaces around us. We also have a mind-body studio as well as a functional training studio. I think the talent pool is growing. One of the unique things about Dubai, you have kind of an east meets west when it comes to sports. Dubai is a great window into the rest of the GCC. We've been very fortunate to work with different UAE authorities to get people to play more sport and to be more active in the UAE.
Hey guys, welcome back to Fine for People. My name's Grant Goes and we're helping you connect with the best in health, sports and fitness. Today we talk about our licensing and how to be properly licensed with a sports coach or a fitness coach here within the UAE. We're the guys from Nook and we've got Ray and Sophia talking about the pros and cons. So if you guys have those comments, questions, make sure you chuck them in the comment section down below. Question.
Uh-oh.
No, you're talking about development of your business. Let's get on that side there. Obviously, Nook offers those services, but then what have you seen from within this space with the development, what people tended to go towards? Because there was questions I heard a couple of days ago when we were talking about just a bit of marketing, like how to get your name out there, what to do, and the old thing of newspaper and print is pretty much it's gone, right? It's not here anymore. So what are some things you've seen within the space that people are doing to promote, market themselves?
Doing well or not doing less well?
Both, I don't know.
Doing well, I mean, everyone talks about it nowadays. Digital marketing's the way forward. I mean, social media is huge here, and if you can focus some ad budget on social media and put it out there, then it is the best way to target exactly who it is that you're targeting, because it's very, very specific.
Yeah.
Which is the same advice that we give to everybody in here. We have connections with digital marketing agencies because as an entrepreneur, you don't always have time to look on YouTube and figure out how Google ads work and how Facebook ads work. Exactly.
It's scratchy.
And it might be money better well spent for somebody else to run it for you. But another thing is, like, community events are huge.
Yeah.
Any kind of free exposure that you can get works, but obviously you need to see some kind of benefit coming back. So if you are just constantly running a yoga class every week for free and don't really get much traction out of it, or any more questions, or you can't sell any further services, then it's probably not going to work. But if you can get into a big event as a yoga teacher, for example, that gives you a lot of exposure and a lot of people attending and a lot of people asking questions afterwards, you've hit the mark with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to do well with it, and it's free, so it's always good.
Best way to everyone's free. How do I grow for free?
To expand a wee bit on that, events is really important, and as Nook, we're the only place of its kind in the UAE, supporting the fitness industry, and so we've worked hard to bring in.
Constantly.
We have worked really hard to bring in players in the industry into Nook. So we had reps hosted some networking events here. Les Mills have had management meetings and launched one of their programs here in the last year. Dubai Fitness Challenge ran several briefing sessions for potential providers who wanted to sign up and engage with that Dubai Fitness Challenge.
Nice. Yeah.
So if we can aggregate as a kind of facility and a community hub for the fitness and sports industry, that can only be helpful to the businesses here as well. As a team, we've worked in the industry collectively, I think, for probably 30 or more years in sports, fitness, corporate wellness, community education, health programming across the UAE and Saudi. So we do have a good network. We know Dubai Sports Council well, Abu Dhabi Sports Council as well, probably more so because we worked with them on a number of events in the past. Yeah. And even as recently as yesterday, one of the companies here is trying to make a connection into Saudi and the General Sports Authority there. And through our own connections, one of their representatives actually has a business here at Nook. But we've also worked with them on projects in Saudi in the past, and then other companies here at Nook are currently working with the General Sports Authority in Saudi. So just by having that awareness of who's here, what people are doing, what people have worked on in the past and will work on in the future, we can make the connections that help, or at least give people the opportunity to succeed, and then it's down to how they take that on and go with it.
There's, I'm actually, we're talking about this, and it's great now. People get quite excited when they go, yeah, I can do this business, have my own thing. That's what a lot of people want to do these days. They want to have their own business, right? And they want to go back. But what are some of the things that you tell people to make sure, like, there is risks behind business with anything you do, right? So what are some of the things that you tell them to make sure you're sure on or certain of before getting into business? That
they have paying clients. That is a big thing.
Before they get registered, or?
Not before they get registered, but a network of people that they can access is always good. And to focus on sales is huge. You know, focusing on sales and getting clients is important before kind of developing the best website or having the best social presence or kind of tapping into community events. Having something there that you can sell is the most important thing. So if you have a brilliant idea but no idea how to deliver it, then bring in the right people that can help you do that. There's nothing wrong with finding help, because the person that's there with you from the beginning is going to be there with you till the end.
Yeah, totally.
It's just a given, because they're that's a good.
We talk about this all the time, and our goal is to help companies set up and succeed and do well. But yeah, we do give them the same advice as Sophie mentioned. Ideally, people will have some money in the bank to tide themselves over, because it takes time to build a business. Starting from scratch, new license, you may just have left a job or be coming from a different industry altogether. So it takes some time to get things up and running such that you can cover your company costs, pay yourself a salary. Having some money in the bank is a good place to start. And then probably, as Sophie said, focus on what's important for your business. And really having the best website in the world isn't going to help you if you're not getting new clients or customers in the door.
So it's hard to define what's the best website too.
And access people that can give you advice and mentorship, and have maybe had that experience and gone through what you're about to start, and is that journey and your own kind of company set up. Because they know, and they've probably made the same mistakes that you're about to, and if you can avoid them, it's going to be a better way to go.
100%.
I was just going to say, another thing that Nook does is that we bring in people that have been through these experiences and put on workshops on a regular basis that anyone is welcome to attend. Anyone who's thinking about setting up a business and isn't really sure what they should be doing. We have them nearly every week, and we're happy to invite anybody who's struggling in the water a little bit and just needs a little bit of help. I mean, we have an organic growth for your business and how to do it successfully. We have a few business mentors that are coming in and delivering workshops, and anything that you can attend or go to that's just going to help you get in the right direction, then, you know, we're happy to help.
100%. Yeah, cool.
And
Awesome.
the really cool thing about the ecosystem is that everyone's kind of at some level in that kind of first 1 to 3 years of business starting up. So you'll find that the business coaches and the mentors, the wellness coaches that have set up here want to kind of grow their customer base. So they're quite often willing to give some free time and advice to the personal trainers and the yoga teachers and the events guys.
Awesome.
Because that helps them and they see them as future potential clients. But
Yeah,
they also
totally.
know, and you have that shared experience, we're in the same boat. We're part of the community, and people like to help each other. It's a good thing.
Very, very cool.
I'm just going to mention quickly that we had dragged them in, kicking and screaming, and now look at it opened up. It's just raw. I love it. Awesome, perfect. What's something the way to summarise when it comes to UAE and licensing here? Because it is very daunting for someone. Could you summarise in a sentence or two, or?
It's daunting. It's also expensive. So
Yeah.
make sure you're making the right move. Have a plan. Know what your priorities are, and as I said, have some money in the bank, and then find the right people to help you. And Nook is one of those organisations that can help, and there's many others. So you know, do your homework, do your research in the market.
Let's say, do you guys
to the
deal with the
different providers.
research side of things or systems
Yes.
side of things?
We can do.
We can help.
to some extent.
Okay, cool.
But research as well, the business consultancy options, whether a mainland license is right for you, is a free zone license right, are you better off taking the cheapest license you can get from an emirate potentially outside of Dubai, which just allows you to get up and running. And also consider which free zones currently in the current market are going to let you open a bank account, and just do your homework.
Yeah, totally.
And we can
It's
help.
a big decision. You should be well informed. We always say if people come in here and without any questions first and say, I want to set up a license, we stop them and make sure they've gone through everything.
Yeah, totally.
And know exactly what it is that they're getting
There's
into.
that honeymoon
because
period. They call it like, yo, I want to start a business. It's amazing. I got this great idea. Let's go for it.
No. But at the same time, it is a fantastic industry and there is a lot of opportunity there. And
Yeah.
the best way to do it is to be legally doing it. So that's another piece of advice. that we
Especially looking for
give.
longevity, right? I mean,
Yes.
there's no what's the point of risking the loss,
Yeah.
really?
You don't get refunds.
No,
generally
no
speaking, from the
refunds.
government, so, but what we've seen, I mean, we're, as I say, 80 plus companies now. We've been operating for 15 months, so we've had a lot of license renewals come up from the early adopters in Nook. We've only seen from that 82 companies now have decided not to continue after the first year. And statistically, a lot of companies do fail in that first year.
Yeah, totally.
And we like to think that the ratio with companies registered at Nook is significantly less than the kind of average. And we hope at least that that's partly due to the support that we provide and just
The
having a
ecosystem
friendly
that you've
face.
created.
And,
Yeah, totally.
and that can be support in a practical sense in terms of business advice and mentorship and help. But it's also just a friendly face and feeling welcome and knowing that there is somebody to talk to if you're having issues or a tough time. And we spend a lot of time just having a conversation with folk about their business and giving what advice we can and encouraging them to keep going and doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
And occasionally being a shoulder to cry on. Occasionally.
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 I can't imagine you like that.
Business is hard. Business is hard.
Totally, there's a lot of. Is there like a psychiatrist as far as like emotional dealing with emotional
work
ups
on
and
it.
downs?
We can introduce you to something.
Yeah, totally. Help me out. UAE. I mean, another question from me, on my side is like Dubai. Do you guys deal with just Dubai alone, or is there UAE under here, or?
Primarily, yeah. So we register companies with DMCC free zone licenses, which is a Dubai free zone. So that's our focus and our specialism. If somebody comes and says, hey, I want to set up a license in Ras Al Khaimah, or I want to take on an events project in Abu Dhabi, then in some cases, depending on what they're going to be doing and how it's set up and different things, we can help. But in most cases, we try and put them in touch with the right people to get the advice related to what they need to do.
Totally.
Whether that's outside of Dubai or elsewhere. It wouldn't be right for us to kind of say, let's go, show us the money, and then it's not right for them and their business. So that's not a good option for us.
Is it, because everyone has, when people start their companies, they have this big grandeur of this, I'm going to be worldwide in no time.
It doesn't always happen.
Being a place, I mean, if it's Nook or it's other places, stuff like that, what is your advice of saying, look, find a spot, start there, and then look to grow and develop and say, look, if you're going to go for JIRA later, then look to really license then, or how would you relicense, say, for example,
You can,
Once you have
you can
DMC
branch.
focus.
You can branch. So you can have a company that starts off with Nook if you wanted to, with DMCC, and then that can be kind of the parent company. And if you want to branch out into other free zones and really expand and grow, then you can have the DMCC company or the original company that you set up own the other licenses that you then set up in the different free zones if you are to expand. And it then becomes an additional asset of the company, and technically you're worth a lot more money. So it's a good thing all around.
Worth more, yeah.
We've seen an example here recently. So a company that set up in Dubai had an opportunity to take on a contract with Sharjah Sports Council.
Yeah.
So the advice we give is, don't think too far ahead. If the contract's on the table and you're ready to go, you can generally get a license set up in 1 to 3 weeks. So just make sure you're covered legally to do what you're doing now, and then worry about the future when those opportunities come up. We've seen it before that people are taking 3, 4 licenses around the place because they think there's opportunities coming, and then they don't, but they're still landed with a bill for 4 companies at the end of the year, and it doesn't make sense.
Totally, 100%. Probably one of the biggest issues we make, we're kind of coming to the end. We're coming to the end. See, it's
Just getting started.
Tell you what, it's funny because the last one is completely different, but yeah, you get into the zone of this is what's great about it. And it's great because there's a passion, a desire, and a love, and it shows that you care, when you're in those zones there. So
We try to.
any kind of, look, we'll come back to this topic, we'll come back and we'll do another chat with you guys now. No, we've broken the ice, it's okay, you're like, yeah, let's do it again. Any kind of last bits of advice you'd give someone?
Setting up. Just do it. Just do it.
Research and then do it.
Can't say that one. That's someone else's catchphrase. Find the right place, people, and thing that works for you. And if you've genuinely got a really, really good concept and you think it can work, trust it. Totally. Trust your instincts. But do the research as well. Don't be silly with it.
Yeah, 100%.
And I would, just as a plug for Nook, I guess, at the end of the day.
No worries.
Shameless plug. Place to be. Our team, I think, all enjoy working here. Yeah. All the companies seem to have a good experience of being here. So we are excited and passionate about what we do, and that makes it fun to talk about Nook and to tell people and share the message. 100%. So we're happy to talk to anyone. Whether or not Nook's the right choice for them, come and see us, have a coffee, see the place, and if we can help, then we'll definitely will.
Awesome. It is a great place, guys. You definitely want to come down, at the very least, come and check it out, come meet the guys. I mean, yes, they can wearing flip-flops and casual, but they are very, very professional in what they do. Licensed in the UAE, there are so many options out there, but the guy said, definitely you're better to understand the options available to you to make the right choices for you. So definitely get out there, have a look, definitely come down there, have a look. And if you have any questions, anything like that, please put them in the comments section down below. We'll put you guys, actually plug the website or the social media.
Yes, definitely. The social media, if you want to catch us and find out what we're up to, is at Nook DXB, and our website is nookwork.ae if you want to find out a little bit more information or get in touch with any of us, and we'll be happy to help.
Perfect. See? And have you down in the description below, guys. So thank you much for joining. Thank you much for your questions and your comments. We'll be back again shortly to talk to these guys for, I imagine, within the next month or so like that. So yeah, thank you guys for your time. Until next time, peace.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
We've all been there, hours searching the internet, asking friend upon friend, making call after call, trying to find the right fitness professional, health specialist, or sports coach. So much time, energy, and even money spent only to find more problems than solutions. Well, now, with the Find Fit People platform, you can find all the available professionals with the skills you need in an instant. We've removed all the barriers by establishing a community of many different skilled health specialists, sports coaches, and fitness professionals that are alerted immediately once you posted your request. In under 30 seconds, you can attract multiple professionals with the right skills to help you achieve the result you want. It's simple, fast, and free. Find us online at www.findfitpeople.com or download the Find Fit People app from Apple or Google Play stores so you can find fit people today.